My name is Artesha Rose, and I will be reading parts of the book Dear Martin by Nick Stone, a New York Times bestseller. Free at last, dream on. Justice McAllister is top of his class and set for a bright future. But none of that matters to the police officer who just put him in handcuffs. And despite leaving his rough neighborhood behind, he can't escape the scorn of his former peers or the ridicule of his new classmates. Justice looks to the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for answers, but do they hold up anymore? He starts a journal to Dr. King to find out. Then comes the day Justice goes driving with his best friend Manny, windows rolled down, music turned up, way up, sparking the fury of a white off-duty cop beside them. Words fly, shots are fired, Justice and Manny are caught in the crosshairs. In the media fallout, it's Justice who is under attack. Once again, Dear Martin by Nick Stone. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, December 10th, 1964. Chapter 1. From where he's standing across the street, Justice can see her, Mello Taylor, ex-girlfriend, slumped over beside her Benz on the damp concrete of the Fresh Farm parking lot. She's missing a shoe, and the contents of her purse are scattered around her like the guts of a pulled party popper. He knows she's stone drunk, but this is too much, even for her. Just shakes his head, remembering the judgment all over his best friend Manny's face as he left Manny's house not 15 minutes ago. The walk symbol appears. As he approaches, she opens her eyes and he waves and pulls his earbud out just in time to hear her say, "What are you doing here?" Justice asks himself the same question as he watches her try and fail to shift to her knees. She falls over sideways and hits her face against the car door. He drops down and reaches for her cheek, which is as red as the candy apple paint job. "Mello, are you okay?" She pushes his hand away. "What do you care?" Stung, Justice takes a deep breath. He cares a lot, obviously. If he didn't, he wouldn't have walked a mile from Manny's house at 3 a.m. Manny's of the opinion that Mello's the worst thing that ever happened to Just, so of course he refused to give his boy a ride, all to keep his drunken disaster of an ex from driving. He should walk away right now, Justice should, but he doesn't. "Jessica called me," he tells her. "That skank." "Don't be like that, babe. She only called me because she cares about you." Jessica had planned to take Mello home herself, but Mel threatened to call the cops and say she'd been kidnapped if Jessica didn't drop her at her car. Mello can be a little dramatic when she's drunk. "I'm totally unfollowing her," she says, case in point, in life and online. Justice shakes his head. "I just came to make sure you get home okay." That's when it hits Justice that while he might succeed in getting Mello home, he has no idea how he'll get back. He closes his eyes as many words rings through his head. "The Captain Save-A-Hole thing is going to get you in trouble, dog." He looks Mello over. She's now sitting with her head leaned back against the car door, half asleep, mouth open. He sighs. Even drunk, Just can't deny Mello's the finest girl he ever laid eyes on, not to mention hands on. She starts to tilt and Justice catches her by the shoulders to keep her from falling. She startles, looking at him wide-eyed, and Just can see everything about her that initially caught his attention. Mello's dad is his Hall of Fame NFL linebacker, bing, black dude. But her mom is from Norway. She got Mrs. Taylor's milky Norwegian complexion, wavy hair, the color of honey, and amazing green eyes that are kind of purple around the edge, but she has really full lips, a small waist, crazy curvy hips, and probably the nicest butt Jess has ever seen in his life. That's part of his problem. He gets too tripped up by how beautiful she is. He never would have dreamed a girl as fine as her would be into him. Now he's got the urge to kiss her, even though her eyes are red and her hair's a mess and she smells like vodka and cigarettes and weed. But when he goes to push her hair out of her face, she shoves his hand away. "Don't touch me, Justice." She starts shifting her stuff around on the ground. Lipstick, Kleenex, tampons, one of those circular thingies with the makeup in one half and a mirror in the other, a flask. Ugh, where are my keys? Justice spots them in front of the back tire and snatches them up. "You're not driving, Mello." "Give 'em." She swipes for the keys but falls into his arms instead. Justice props her against the car again and gathers the rest of her stuff to put back in her bag. So now I'm going to jump over to one of his journal entries. August 25th, Dear Martin, aka Dr. King. First and foremost, please know I mean you no disrespect with the whole Martin thing. I studied you and your teachings for a project in 10th grade, so it feels most natural to interact with you as a homie. Hope you don't mind that. Quick intro. My name is Justice McAllister. I'm a 17-year-old high school senior and full scholarship student at Brailston Preparatory Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm ranked 4th in my graduating class of 83. I'm the captain of the debate team. I scored a 1560 and a 34 on my SATs and ACTs, respectively. And despite growing up in a bad area, not too far from your old stomping grounds, I have a future ahead of me that will likely include an Ivy League education, an eventual law degree, and a career in public policy. Sadly, during the wee hours of this morning, literally none of that mattered. Long story short, I tried to do a good deed and wound up on the ground in handcuffs. And despite the fact that my ex-girlfriend was visibly drunk off her ass, excuse my language, I apparently looked so menacing in my prep school hoodie, the cop who cuffed me called for backup. The craziest part is that while I thought everything would be cool as soon as her parents got there, no matter what they told the cops, these dudes would not release me. Mr. Taylor offered to call my mom, but the cops made it clear that since I'm 17, I'm considered an adult when placed under arrest, aka there was nothing Mama could do. Mr. Taylor wound up calling my friend SJ's mom, Mrs. Friedman, an attorney, and she had to come bark a bunch of legal hoo-ha in the cops' face before they'd undo the cuffs. By the time they finally let me go, the sun was coming up. It'd been hours, Martin. Mrs. F didn't say a whole lot as she drove me to my dorm, but she made me promise to go by the infirmary and get some cold packs for my swollen wrist. I called my mama to tell her what happened, and she said she'll file a complaint first thing in the morning, but I doubt it'll do any good. Frankly, I'm not real sure what to feel. Never thought I'd be in this kind of situation. There was this kid, Shamar Carson, black dude, my age, shot and killed in Nevada by the white cop back in June. The details are hazy since there weren't any witnesses, but what's clear is this cop shot an unarmed black kid 4 times. Even fishier, according to the medical examiners, there was a 2-hour gap between the estimated time of death and when the cop called it in. Before the incident last night, I hadn't really thought much about it. There's a lot of conflicting information, so it's hard to know what to believe. Shamar's family and friends say he was a good dude, headed to college, active in his youth group, but the cop claims he caught Shamar trying to steal a car. A scuffle ensued, allegedly, and according to the police report, Shamar tried to grab the cop's gun, so the cop shot Shamar in self-defense. I don't know. I've seen some pictures of Shamar Carson, and he did have kind of a thuggish appearance. In a way, I thought I'd didn't really need to concern myself with this type of thing because compared to him, I don't come across as threatening. I don't sag my pants or wear my clothes super big. I go to a good school and have goals and vision and a great head on my shoulders, as Mama likes to say. Yeah, I grew up in a rough area, but I know I'm a good dude, Martin. I thought if I made sure to be an upstanding member of society, I'd be exempt from the stuff those black guys deal with. Really hard to swallow that I was wrong. All I can think now is how different would things have gone had I not been a black guy. I know initially the cop could only go by what he saw, which probably did seem a little sketchy, but I've never had my character challenged like that before. Last night changed me. I don't want to walk around all pissed off and looking for problems, but I know I can't continue to pretend nothing's wrong. Yeah, there are no more colored water fountains, and it's supposed to be illegal to discriminate, but if I can be forced to sit in the concrete in too tight handcuffs when I've done nothing wrong, it's clear there's an issue. That, that things aren't as equal as folks say they are. I need to pay attention more, Martin. Start really seeing stuff and writing it down. Figure out what to do with it. That's why I'm writing to you. You faced way worse. I mean, stuff that's sitting in handcuffs for a few hours, but you stuck to your guns. Well, your lack thereof, actually. I want to try to live like you, do what you would do, see where it gets me. My wrist is killing me, so I have to stop writing now. But thanks for hearing me out. Sincerely, Justice McAllister. So once again, this was part of Dear Martin by Nick Stone, a New York Times bestseller. You can find it on Amazon, and there may be some at a couple of libraries also. But once again, if you can, get the book. Pretty interesting read. Dear Martin, Nick Stone.